Welcome into Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Megan Payton. It is Overreaction Monday. We are going to react to everything you guys are saying. But first, get your comments and your questions in for our mailbag show going on later this week. You've got to be subscribed in order to have a chance to get your questions in. Use hashtag Steelers, and we will probably put you on the show later this week. We want to thank our friends over at BetQL. BetQL gives the best bet recommendations every week. We're going to tell you more about them, but if you go to chatsports.com/SteelersQL, you've got to use the code ChatSteelers. You're going to get 25% off of all of their subscription offerings. Not to mention, last night, their 5-star bet was the Patriots covering the Bucks at 6.5. 90% of everyone else had the Bucks to cover. And hey, guess what happened? The Patriots did end up covering that 6.5 spread. Like I said, we are going into our overreactions, and I'm going to just stop real quickly and say, hey, most of the time we call this an overreaction Monday, but with the way that Pittsburgh is playing right now, there's just no nice way to say it. These are reactions. These are not overreactions. Maybe one or two are, but this is what you guys have had to say in the comments. These are just simply reactions, but it is the overreaction show, so we'll call it that for now. The first one being, is it time to press the panic button? If it wasn't time to press the panic button last week, I'm saying right now it's at least time to tap the panic button. Guys, this was not a good game. And I get that it was the Packers, but overall, just bad play on offense, bad play on defense, bad coaching, bad scheming. This is just not what we want to see. It is not encouraging. And yeah, I'd say it's time to start tapping the panic button. It's 27-17 win the Green Bay Packers had against the Steelers yesterday. And we're not seeing what we want to out of Big Ben. We are not even seeing what we need to see out of the defense if they are going to be making up for the offense's failures. And just, to me, we need a win, and we need a win soon. If I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm going into this week saying things are changing. We are not going to have the overgeneral discussions of like, let's bounce back. Let's have a good week next week against the Broncos. I am saying what needs to change, what major changes need to happen in order to have a chance to compete in this competitive AFC North. This isn't a blow-off division anymore. I mean, right now, the Bengals, Ravens, and Browns, they are all sitting at 3-1. The Steelers are the only ones at 1-3. And yes, it is only 4 games. So I'm not saying that there's no way the Steelers can come back, and you can be a positive fan going, hey, but they've had rough starts before. But I'm saying it's not getting better. I'd feel better if like each week I saw some improvement. It's not getting better, and it's not getting easier. Earlier, we talked about just how difficult this Steelers schedule is. And I mean, hey, they're taking on the Broncos at home. They do have a lot of home games coming up, but not easy games. Broncos, Seahawks. Then they have a bye in week 7. Then they go on the road to play Cleveland, another important divisional game. Then they've got the Bears. And so, yeah, sure, maybe the Lions. But right now, there has to be major change. If you want to stand a chance at beating some of these really competitive teams and have a chance at competing in your own division, to me, it's just not looking good. So when I think about what the Steelers' best case scenario would be as far as record, I'm not sure right now. But what do you guys think? What will the Steelers' record end up being this season? Do you think that things are going to start improving? Do you think that they're going to bounce back? Or are you saying this is just not our year? I'm saying it already. Go to the comments right now. Predict the Steelers' record in the comments. Second, if you want to call it overreaction for this week, is benching Big Ben. Now, last week, this same topic got brought up. And, you know, I was hoping that this wasn't going to be a reaction after this game. Unfortunately, it's maybe even more of a reaction this week, because this week, I hate to say it, but the offensive line didn't look terrible. I'm not saying they looked good. They really didn't. But there wasn't a lot of like as much pressure on Big Ben in this game. Really, the offensive line showed some improvement, but Big Ben did not. Just, yesterday he had a 43.7 QBR, which is okay, sure. 26 for 40 attempts, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And, you look at these stats and it's actually somewhat misleading. Just overall, the problem is his accuracy is off really bad. We talk about those 2 deep connections to Juju that he missed. He's overall just trying to get it out too quick because he's either afraid of getting hit. He's just acting too quickly. He's mentally not there. And to me, it's father time. And I hate it. A lot of guys go through this. Big Ben is an amazing player. I mean, he has had such a successful career. He just got his 400th touchdown of his career yesterday. He's had 61,381 yards. Big Ben is potentially going to go down in the Hall of Fame. He is an amazing guy, an amazing player, and has really changed the Steelers' offense. But every guy has his time to call it quits. And I hate it for Big Ben. And every guy also wants to go out big. And that's the hard part about the NFL. No quarterback plays really well and then says, this is when I'm going to throw the flag and this is when I'm saying I'm done. They all end up having a similar situation where the play just isn't there. And the Steelers are suffering because of it. And I get that they're paying him a good amount. And they, Mike Tomlin might be saying, well, we're paying him. I don't want to just bench him because of this. But it's still, you've got to think about the future. What's going to happen next year when Big Ben doesn't come back? You're not going to know who your quarterback is. You could be spending this time right now testing out Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, but instead you're continuing to play Big Ben. I don't know. To me, it might be time. But what do you guys think? Do you think Pittsburgh should bench Big Ben? Go to the comments right now. Type B for bench or type P for play. Now, BetQL, you might not be betting on the Steelers. Maybe you are. I don't know how you're feeling. But BetQL is going to be providing you guys with the best bet recommendations all season long. They've got player props, over-unders, spreads. I'm telling you, if you're betting at all, why not do it smart? Get professional advice. Go to chatsports.com/SteelersQL. You are going to get 25% off of all of their subscription offerings, but you've got to use the promo code ChatSteelers. Next up on our Overreaction Monday, this one to me actually is an overreaction. It's offense is Matt Canada's fault. And I've seen a lot of you guys kind of, hate on him, the offensive coordinator, saying that he's the reason that the offense is struggling. But I'm just going to play devil's advocate here for a second. How can Matt Canada change up the offense when they're limited so much? He doesn't have a lot to work with. Big Ben, like we said, his mobility is gone. He's having to play a different style completely. And that limits an offensive coordinator on what kind of plays they can call. And I'd also question, hey, what is this? Is this actually Matt Canada's play calling, or is this Big Ben deciding in the pocket this is what he's going to do? I don't know the power dynamic there and who's actually deciding what plays happens. But if you look at the offensive stats yesterday against Green Bay, Steelers had 282 total yards, 220 total passing yards, 62 rushing yards, and only 4.9 yards per average per play. And to me, then they had 3.9 yard gain per rushing play, 5.2 on passing plays. It's overall not there. And we talk about, hey, Najee Harris is great. He's a dominant player, but again, he can only do so much with the offensive line still struggling. So for me, when I look at these stats, and third and fourth down, they were only 4 of 13. Those 2 fourth down calls, which we're going to talk about, just completely ruining the game. But Matt Canada can only do so much. And I would be surprised if he had as much power as you think. I think that there's a lot of situations where Big Ben is changing things up maybe, and they're just having to adapt to really the inconsistency and the lack of mobility that Roethlisberger has right now. So I'm not putting a lot of concern on Matt Canada. Maybe I could be proved different. Maybe we'll see different things out of him later in the season. But that'll be one thing I'll say is an overreaction. This one is not, though. Fourth down plays were terrible. This is a proper reaction. I don't know how. This is where you talk about learn from your mistakes. In the Bengals, they did the same thing. They did the same kind of swing pass to Najee Harris. It was like 4th and 4. Did it work out? No. Well, they do it again, 4th and 4, something like that against the Packers. Doesn't work out. They do it again, twice in a row in 1 week after already failing at it last week. And this has to change. How do you not learn from your mistakes? I'm talking about we want to see some improvement. I'm not even saying that they needed to convert the 4th down, but don't do what you know doesn't work. To me, it was terrible. I don't like to see it. I'm not saying that it would have changed the game, but I'm saying that those are just silly mistakes that you've got to clean up. Now, BetQL is partnering with BetMGM. I said BetQL gives you the best bet recommendations, but if you want a great deal and you want somewhere to place your bets, they are teaming up with BetMGM. And if you go sign up, create an account, deposit $10 into your account, 24 hours later, you are going to get a free year of BetQL. You've got to use chatsports.com/SteelersMGM. This is an insane deal. A free year of BetQL, a free year of best bet recommendations. If you're betting at all this season, do not miss out on this deal. Last overreaction we're going to touch on this week is that the defense is going downhill. Now, they did not play great yesterday, and it sucks because we talk about where the offense is lacking so much. You kind of want that defense to step up a notch. That's what Pittsburgh's all about. You know, we talk about how dominant they are with TJ Watt, with Minkah Fitzpatrick, Cameron Hayward. They've got a great group of guys, but they just didn't perform well yesterday. And my initial reaction, I rewatched some of the game, and I'm saying TJ Watt doesn't look 100% healthy. He won't touch on it, though. In a press conference, he was saying, I was good enough to play. That's all that matters. I don't think he's 100% there, and I think that's why we're seeing him struggle a little bit like the way he did yesterday. Now, he did have 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 fumble recovery, but those 2 sacks, one was clearly tripping Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, that's what it was. It's not really a real sack. And the second one, we've seen a lot better TJ Watt sacks. This was kind of Aaron Rodgers falling down. He just wasn't performing great. And I'm not going to, overthink this. I just don't think he's 100%. I think he wanted to be back out there. He wanted to help his team out, but in reality, he might have not been ready. And you just think about what this defense did overall. They let Aaron Rodgers put up 248 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. 1 was a rushing touchdown that he put in. And yes, he is one of the most dominant quarterbacks in the league. But, the pass rush wasn't there. They really just ran the ball all over him. Randall Cobb played really well. The coverage wasn't there. They did cover Adams better than I thought they would. But to me, the defense does need to improve. And you really can't have off days with the defense if the offense is going to be struggling the way that they are. So these are my 5 things that I say are pretty fair reactions. Maybe the Matt Canada one being a little bit of an overreaction, but I'm saying, hey, if I'm the Steelers, I'm looking at what's happening and I'm looking at the defense. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm definitely concerned about the offense. We know that everyone's concerned about the offense, but how concerned are you with the defense on a scale of 1 to 10? What are your concerns at? To me, I'm going like a 3 or 4. We just got some guys back. It's going to be a little bit of a progress. I think next week the defense will improve. I'm not sure about the offense, but go to the comments right now on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me know your concern level. Now, the Steelers don't have an easy week. They're going to be playing at home, which is nice, against the Denver Broncos. Now, we are wondering, we're going to keep you updated on Teddy Bridgewater's status. Quarterback, he went out with a concussion last week, so maybe they're going to be dealing with a backup quarterback situation. But it's a must-win game, and they all are now. This is a struggling team. We've got to see major changes. We've got to see some improvement in offense, in defense, in coaching. All of this needs to change just to bring back the hope. Right now, it's gone. Right now, Steelers fans are sitting here, and it's upsetting. We do not feel good about where Pittsburgh's at. And yes, it's early in the season, but I don't want to sit here and just give false hope. I am not super confident in the Steelers right now.